Hello, welcome back to Mining Now. I'm your host, Jared Downey. We are expanding our heavy industry tour, and today we are doing episodes in South Africa. We're filming this episode at around 2:30 in the morning. We've got the Kal Tire Mining Group, Senior Vice President Dan Allan on the show today. We're going to be actually we're going to have multiple people from Kal Tire setting up at different stations at Electra Mining. So we're going to cover a few different angles of where Kal Tire is involved in the mining sector. Quick announcement for the heavy industry tour. Our next episodes that are going to be part of that tour are going to be filmed from, I believe, MIMO, which is September 18th to 21st. And then November 2nd to 4th, we are in Australia at IMARC. And we want to give a very special shout out to and thank you to our sponsor, Savanna Equipment, for allowing us to travel all over the world and film these episodes. So, without further ado, Dan, thank you for being on the show. It's great to have you on.
Thanks for getting up so early to have me. This is
Yeah.
one of my favorite places in the world to come, and I got to tell you, it's just bustling here, so it's awesome.
Well, there is a part of me, I will be honest, that feels a little bit left out because Dennis gets to actually be there and see it, and I'm filming it from our studio. How many times have you been there
This year, I've been in South Africa 3 times already this year. So yeah,
already?
it's a,
Wow.
it's a it's a regular journey. This is a great mining market with a lot of great customers here.
So what sort of angle? Because we are going to do a couple different stations. We did something similar with an episode in Vegas with you. What angle are you sort of setting up and looking at today?
Well, look, for us, it's really important that we encourage our customers to really inspect their tire providers and their tire service providers. And I think it's important for us to be able to show the customers what that differentiation is all about. So we spent a lot of time on our innovation section on ESG topics to make sure customers understand the value that we can bring. And I think, as our signs say all over this booth today, they should expect more. And we're happy to be subject to that scrutiny. So we're trying to show something different, expanding our offerings as a service provider, and showing customers that they should expect more from us.
When you're going to an event, I mean, like you said, so have you been going to South Africa for events or for direct client meetings? What sort of the setup for going there so much this year?
Well, the mining in Java, which is usually every year, which is held around Cape Town, that was one of the big events that I came down for, which is a greght show. And there was a lot of emphasis from almost every single mining company talking about their developments, their initiatives, their ambitions when it comes to whether it's sustainability, ESG, zero emissions. So it's a chance to really engage with customers and what's important to them so that we know how to respond with our respective offerings.
How much of that is what is you taking the initiative to give them options, and how much of it is getting what they've already sort of got in place and what their goals are, and then meeting them there?
So much of this is trying to anticipate what the needs are of our customer base. We can't get too far ahead. So
Hmm.
we try and take the cues from things like Indaba or things like Electra Mining here to know what's important to them. So we have time to develop offerings that are salient and relevant for their business.
So on the recycling side, in that section, what are we talking about specifically when we talk about Kal Tire in relation to recycling, ESG, in the mining sector?
Yeah, the purpose here in South Africa, we don't have a recycling plant here yet. But we know that there is legislation in South Africa. And we know that the customer base, the mining industry at large, really does care about that sustainability piece. So what we're trying to introduce is here's a solution. We're not saying it's necessarily the best thing, ever, but we're saying here's a solution and here's an opportunity for us to really talk seriously about how can we bring this sort of solution to the mining customer base in South Africa.
So, I mean, I guess without what I always say on the on the show, no, without digging into all your secret sauce and into the your planning sessions, of course. But is a lot of going to places like South Africa, is a lot of it trying to gauge how much what your approach is going to be over the next 5, 10 years as that sector continues to develop and as you continue to expand.
Yeah, I mean, if we could talk specifically about recycling, for example, there's a lot of moving pieces to that.
Hmm.
Again, South Africa does have legislation that they do have fees that they charge for recycling tires. The problem is the implementation of that is a bit challenging in South Africa. So what we're trying to do here is make customers aware that we're here to help, and there are options that if we need to do something different in the way we work with government or the way we work with industry, that we're willing to do that. So a lot of it is, speaking to the customer base, speaking to the legislators to make sure we understand what the climate is, so that we know how to respond in kind with whatever our solution is going to be. So there's a lot of that legwork that has to be done, and that's why we end up spending so much time in South Africa and these other places where the ESG topic, recycling end of life tires specifically, is becoming a big topic of consideration.
Help Fuller Brothers celebrate its 60th anniversary this year as the world's leader in providing non hazardous, non toxic products that reduce tire management costs for a diverse range of customers. The acknowledged formula developers of the globally recognized Tire Life. Fuller Brothers also produces other quality products such as PSF Plus, PSF Lubezit Tire Cream, Dripless Tire Paint, Omega Tire Repair System, White Dismount Lube, as well as select tire service tools and tire painting equipment. More information can be found at fullerbros.com or by calling toll free at 1 800 547 7785. Fuller Brothers, we have the inside covered. At Corporate Traveler, their seamless combination of expert service and innovative booking tech means you have what you need when you need it. Mining companies need experienced agents who know how to get you to far to reach destinations with ease, who understand rotational crew travel, chartering, and so much more. And with an average tenure of 8 years, their agents are the best in the biz and are experts at managing all your mining travel needs. Have an emergency? They've got your back 24/7, anywhere, on any device. Don't get stuck with complicated and rigid travel options. Get it done with Corporate Traveler. Visit them at corptraveler.com.
We don't have to go through each one, but could you highlight maybe a couple of the main challenges that you're facing? And we're going to be talking, with all our guests, we're going to be talking about those challenges, and then a couple of the solutions that you're providing.
Sure. Specific to recycling or just
yeah,
in general?
specific to the recycling side.
Yeah, sure. So one of the big challenges is the levy on importing tires here in South Africa is 2 Rand 30 a kilo, which is really not enough to pay for solutions to sort of properly solve the end of life tire problem, because mining tires are much larger than passenger car tires, and they have a different process that needs to be undertaken to handle them in a sustainable way. So the challenge is working with legislators to figure out, okay, well, how do we bridge that gap between the 2 Rand 30 and what has to be, a reasonable sort of tolling fee to take care of that? So that takes a lot of discussion and a lot of work. There's the whole area here. Triple B double E is a big thing in South Africa. Learning how to work with various industries. It might take a joint venture relationship here, which again, from a commercial perspective, takes some real diligence and consideration before we get involved with something like that. And then there's of course understanding which customers would be the priority customers for this sort of solution.
Right.
And because it's brand new, in many cases, everybody wants to be first to be second. So it's really about demonstrating that we've had success at this in the past. It's real. It's not something we've imagined. It's something that we feel very confident that we could bring forward. So there's a lot of those moving pieces that constantly need to be talked with, discussed with, and give people confidence that we know what we're talking about.
And I was actually thinking about this before we came on air, and is when you're traveling there, I mean, we live in a world now. I mean, of course, we know that the events got shut down. We stopped traveling for 2 years. That whole deal, and now we're back out in these live events, and you're back out sort of on the ground, in countries like South Africa. How important is it when you're trying to make these decisions? Channel partnerships, legislation, having talks with customers. How much of it is being on the ground, even getting your team on the ground and getting a feel for the environment that you're in?
I can't express to you how challenging the previous 2 years have been. And it's great that we have tools like Zoom and Teams and these sorts of things, but it is not a substitute for building confidence, building relationships, exploring new things, brainstorming ideas. So the whole thing that at least I've missed, and I think a lot of our teams have missed, is that personal contact and that personal development with real customers across the table. Um, I just can't stress enough, especially for new ideas,
Yeah.
that it's that face-to-face, person-to-person understanding on the ground level of what has to get done. It's so critical to any sort of new venture or innovation.
Yeah, well, when you just answered that, what came to my mind is at CIM, I had never sort of met your, members of. I dealt with Caitlin for
Yeah,
for a couple of years, I guess, actually, and we'd never met. And then I walked into your booth, and all of a sudden, I got the vibe of who KalTire is. Everybody was there and friendly. You know, I ended up talking to about 4 people at one time. Everybody just sort of came in. And then I went, oh, that's how this, that's how your
yeah.
group operates. You can't get that. You can't. And I guess I'm not doing very good for pumping our own show, but you cannot get that on like a Zoom call like we're doing. You have to do that in person.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great forum to bring people places that they can't otherwise get to, and I
Right.
totally appreciate that. But if you're really going to bring a solution to a customer and you haven't met them face to face, or
Hmm.
you're working, as you said, with a channel partner or a prospective joint venture organization, you need to know those people.
Yes.
The world doesn't run on stuff; it runs with people and ideas. And I can't express to you how excited I was to come here again and see customers and people face to face and sort of push some of our new ideas out to the marketplace. It's been quite rewarding.
That's going to be a standout quote for me. The world runs on people and ideas. So that's with that said, let's meet a couple more of your people, Dan. We're going to reset up the camera to a different angle. So thanks for joining us and enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jared. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's give a special thank you to one of our longest sponsors of the show, Savanna Equipment. And I'm actually going to hand it over to Jared so that he can give you a little bit more info on Savanna Equipment.
Yeah, thank you. So I mean, people see them as sponsors, so they'll ask me, kind of who they are, what they are, and just trying to understand the scope of the company. So Savanna Equipment is a mining supply company, and they're delivering on the whole equipment supply chain. So everything from the ore processing to underground mining, open pit. They're in hard rock and placer operations. And what they're doing is they're sourcing equipment from all over the world and then delivering it all over the world. Now, they are a Canadian company, so they're based there, but, let's say, I mean, they're selling entire ore processing plants. So there might be a plant down in Latin America, and there's a new mine that needs that plant in Africa or somewhere in the US. So they're facilitating that entire transactions. But they're also delivering, an individual conveyor or a concentrator or a pump package or just an electrical package. So it really is the whole gambit of the mining equipment supply chain.
I actually do have a question. I know you mentioned, they take care of the purchasing, the shipping worldwide. However, if you're looking for a particular mining equipment that they perhaps may not have on
Hmm.
hand, can they actually facilitate that for you as well?
Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of their business because, and it's if you went on to SavannaEquipment.com, I'm a shameless plug for them, but if you go onto that website, you'll see just this huge array of equipment. So it's easier to think maybe there's like random people just uploading equipment. It's not. They put that equipment on. They're also finding particular pieces of equipment for people from all over the world going to all over the world again. So yes, people, you can reach out to them and contact them, and then they will source that equipment and get it to you as well.
Oh, that's great then. Well, then you definitely have to check them out if you're looking for mining equipment. Visit them at savannaequipment.com where you will find more equipment every day.
Okay, so now this is going to be our second part of the KalTire Mining Group episode. We're going to have Peter Nilsson. He is the Innovation and R&D Manager at KalTire. Peter, welcome. It's been a while since we've talked. I think the
Thank you.
last time you were on was in Vegas.
It was in Vegas. Yes, that's correct. Good to hear your voice again.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you, and now from South Africa, so lots of fun.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into it. What setup are you standing beside right now?
The setup we have here now is it's called wheel inspection. reason for having a wheel inspection is actually to test the wheels which we have at the mine site. If we're looking at how the current situation is with wheel inspections, is that the customer has to send their wheels down to the manufacturer to be tested. And this could be quite a costly and maybe not so efficient way of doing it, because majority of the result of being tested is that 60 to 7% of the wheels going down to the manufacturer are actually okay to go back in the operation. So instead of looking at this as a option, we like to provide this new development, this new prototype we have here right next to me, that we take this unit and we go actually to the customer site and we do the inspection right there and determine which wheels has to go back to the operation or has to be sent back to the manufacturer to be repaired or can be scrapped at the site.
So, Peter, we're going to. I wanted to ask you about sort of the setup, of the on-site setup, and just to let the audience know, there's going to be some little edits that you're going to see here, because there's been people just coming through, and that's good. It's a busy show, so people are coming through. As long as you don't get trampled, we're good. But can you just talk about the setup, like the physical setup of what sort of paint us that picture of that inspection on site?
Yeah. So basically, if we have a customer now who needs to have inspection done, we will require them to maybe have at least 10 to maybe 15 different wheels being available at the site. We will then arrive and we will then do a pre-visual inspection on the wheels. And after we are satisfied with that, we will start to clean them to make sure that they actually can be inspected. After the cleaning, we will set up this arm here, which basically have a number of different probes and an instrument. And we will then take step by step by going through certain areas which have all the welds when they have manufactured this wheel. So all the welds will be inspected, plus an area which we call the gutter section. And when that is done, I'll take the arm and I move it to the inside of the wheel and do exactly the same thing there on the welds. And after we have combined all the results from the different 10 to 15 wheels, I will then take that information and I will put down and manufacture a report, develop a report for the customer.
HF Sinclair, which includes the Petro-Canada Lubricants brand, is a proud sponsor of Mining Now. Petro-Canada Lubricants products and services are proven to maximize equipment performance, productivity, and overall savings. From heavy-duty engine oils to hydraulic fluids, ATF's gear oils and greases, Petro-Canada Lubricants is committed to delivering innovative solutions that deliver value and keep businesses moving. They have dedicated technical expertise, knowledge, and know-how to help customers in the mining industry operate smoothly with improved equipment, reliability, and performance. Learn more at lubricants.petro-canada.com or contact them at 1-866-335-3369 to arrange a call with one of their technical experts. Founded in 1989 in South Africa, the Bloom Burton Engineering Group is a world leader in ventilation, refrigeration, and cooling systems for underground mines. BBE Consulting Canada, created in Greater Sudbury, Ontario, is part of the BBE Group of companies since 2016. Its services include mine ventilation and cooling system modeling, feasibility studies, detailed engineering, procurement and construction management, as well as site ventilation surveys, ventilation audits, and training mentoring for underground mines across all Americas. You can reach out to BBE Consulting Canada by visiting bbegroup.ca or writing to enquiries@bbegroup.ca. Also, watch out for BBE's upcoming episode on Mining Now.
So something that setup, I guess I'm at the risk of being a little redundant. I mean, in comparison, so how to inspect those 15 wheels, how many people are we talking from your team that would require to come out there? And then I'm assuming there'd be a couple people from their team actually operating gear and stuff like that. What would be the setup in comparison to taking those 15 wheels and actually shipping them to an inspection area?
So in this case, there will just be one person from Kal Tire doing this inspection. And I think that is also one big added value to this here now, that we can actually determine on what the wheels conditions are at the customer site. And the customer obviously will have the added value by actually having the result right in his hands within a couple of days. What the final inspection was all about.
So in an area like in South Africa, would you have someone from your Kal Tire team? What's the, sort of the setup for these global
Yeah.
operations that need the tire inspection?
Yeah. In order to do this NDT training or to do this in NDT inspection, they need to have a certain level of NDT training. So we will provide that training for all our specific dedicated persons who will be some sort of a super users on this particular system. So this training will take place in the location, let's say South Africa. You could have a couple of technicians being trained on it, and then they will take this particular equipment to the mine site and do the inspection right there.
Okay, so you can actually train. So you can train different people. You can train people from essentially all over the world on this machinery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is what we have done already in Canada, where we had Chile, we had Mexico, we have Canadians in one class, and this will now just be distributed. So what you see here is a prototype, and this will be sent down to these regions, and it will be tested for probably like 3 months, and then we evaluate and see if there's anything we can do to improve this piece of equipment.
Is it quite helpful? Like, I mean, again, we're joking about you not getting run over here at this event. Is that it seems like we've got it under control now. We've got some chairs blocking you
We got bodyguards.
and we got bodyguards. but at an event like this, is it quite? Do you get a lot of people? Are you getting a chance to? Oh, there's another person. Are you getting a chance to sort of tell a lot of people about it, or do a lot of people coming and they already know about it and just to have a chance to sort of, in a way, re-educate them? Or is there a lot of new people coming through?
We have had quite success here and on this piece of equipment. There is a lot of people coming through wondering what is this all about. And if you then start to explain the reason for this whole thing, is that then they start to understand what these wheels are going through out in the mine site and why the importance of having preventive maintenance on these wheels. Yeah. So yes, we have had very successful time here, I must say, during these 3 days so far.
Yeah, well, I was saying to Dan, I'm feeling a little bit left out now, as watching how busy the show is getting and hearing about it from Dennis. Yeah. So, okay, thank you, Peter. We're going to go over to our third setup here for this episode. Thanks for joining us, and I certainly hope it won't be the last time.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
talk to you later.
Sir. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, so now it's going to be the third part. We're going to have one more after this for the Kal Tire Mining Group episode. We're going to have Darren Flint. So this is the first for Darren being on Mining Now. He's the VP of the UK and West Africa and VP of Tire Life Services. Darren, it's good to have you on. Excited to get to chat with you a bit.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
So, you know what? Let's give a little more context. So, what is your main role within Kal Tire?
My main role in Kal Tire is overseeing the operations for the UK, Europe, and West Africa. So, the controls of the whole operations. So the teams reported into me for that region.
And how about the Tire Life Services? Is that specific to that region, or are you involved with that on a macro level of
the
Kal Tire?
Tire Lifetime Services role is to support the MTG retreading and repairing facilities across the whole of MTG.
Okay.
So I've been in retreading and repairing for over 30 years. So it's applying just their expertise and knowledge around those sectors. And helping the region to support them. Sorry.
Right. So can you talk? What is your area, folks? I mean, I see the Maple program. We've discussed it a little bit on the show before. Is that going to be your main area of focus today on the show?
Yes, it will be. It's about the Maple program is key to helping us develop and improve our retreading and repairing penetration into our customers. It's giving them an extra part of a reason why they should consider retreading and repairing earth moving tires. But it's a key focus and it's one of the reasons why it's on the show.
We every episode brings in a new swath. I mean, since last time, Kal Tire was on the show, I mean, that was only, I guess, several months ago. But even in that time, we've probably had, 500,000 or whatever more viewers. So you're going to get a lot of people. Maybe there's going to be definitely a few that don't know about the Maple program. So can you kind of walk us through what it is, and why it is?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've put the program together as a reward program for our customers to help them be able to demonstrate the CO2 savings that they can generate by using retreads and having tires repaired. So if you're going to have a tire repaired and put it back into work, it saves you having to buy another tire. So there's obvious savings there on not having to buy another giant tire, 57-inch, 63-inch. So there's massive CO2 savings in doing that. And also then if you consider the retreading, where we take the first life tire and basically we don't have to generate the casing, the massive savings in CO2 there and materials not having to be used. And all we do is apply new rubber to that casing. So there's massive CO2 savings there. And these CO2 savings can then, we get those verified by an outside party. We collect thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of data from our retreading plants and repair plants around MTG. And then we can have that verified by SCS, an outside party, so that our customers can then use these CO2 calculations in their sustainability reports. We developed a calculator to allow us to be able to calculate the amount of CO2 saved in the number of tires that are repaired or the number of tires that get retreaded from our customer sites.
So when you're seeing a mine operator reporting, we've reduced our emissions by X amount, and the Maple program can that be tied? Is that getting tied in with those reports? Is that an example of something that is being used in that specifically?
Yeah, because it's verified. So the data and the output is certified. They can then use that, and it can be challenged in their sustainability annual reports. And that's one of the things, the environmental side of it is what we're being pushed on for the sustainability for our customers. So they really like being able to prove and demonstrate where they're saving, and making carbon savings.
When you're at this event, are you talking to people? Now it's obviously based in South Africa, but you come down to a North American event, you're going to get people from the US, Canada, down into Latin America. Are there people coming here, and are you getting a chance to talk to people from different countries as well, or is this pretty heavily tilted towards South African operators?
It's more of an African show, so we're getting quite a lot of people, some of our customers from West Africa. So that's the reason why I'm present on the stand, is for our West African customers. We're launching it here, this program here in South Africa now at this show, so it's really new to this side of the business.
Oh,
but in the rest of MTG, it's already rolled out, and we're getting better penetration now across all the regions.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We got our one last one, so we're going to keep it quick, Darren. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and hopefully, sometime maybe we'll get you back on for sort of a longer, expanded talk about the UK, West Africa. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot we could cover there within the longer format. So, but thank you for joining us.
No, that'd be great. I look forward to doing that.
Okay, last guest for the Kal Tire Mining Group, for South Africa, Electra. We're going to bring on Christian LD. I've been doing good on names, and then you stumped me, Christian. How do you say your last name?
It's Erdelyi.
LD.
Erdelyi, yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, where does that originate from? It's a new.
It's Hungarian. It's Hungarian.
It's Hungarian. And, okay.
Yeah, and it translates into Transylvania.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was practicing just before you got on, and I was I think it was getting worse as I was trying harder. So
no problem.
What is your role within Kal Tire?
So I'm the manager for mining technology solutions, and I'm looking after the TOMP system, and I'm currently busy with integrating all sorts of sensors that we can find on the mine site into our TOMP system, such as the PITQ AI and TPMS systems, in order to enhance planning and drive more values to our customers.
Okay, we were just chatting with Darren, about like the Maple program, and I kind of, can you do a quick? I want to talk about the autonomous integration, but can you just do a quick snapshot of what TOMS is, just so that the audience has that context, and then we can do the things that are supporting that system now?
Sure. So TOMS stands for Tire Operation Management System. And it's a system that KalTire is using to drive planning and tire service and tire management on our mine sites. It started as a tire tracking system, and so we have advanced the tire tracking to planning, and we are using Tom system today on 150 plus mine sites.
Wow.
Applying a common language, a common set of master data, helping our team members to manage our customers' fleets and tires.
So I guess once you have a major management system like that, now comes in all the technology that can be tacked on and to feed that system. So can you highlight a couple of those, or maybe a main one that you're sort of promoting here at Electra?
Yes. Yeah. So a main sensor is the PitCo AI thermal vision inspection station that we are promoting here on the exhibition. And it's a system that is based on the side of a whole road where trucks are passing by. And as trucks are passing, we're taking a footage of those trucks, and it is pushed through a AI that is has been developed by an Australian company, PitCo AI.
Yes,
that
I know
AI
them.
is looking for the AI program is programmed to look for tire damage, and if it finds the tire damage, it measures it, and it measures the temperature, it measures the dimensions, and after that, this information is given into our Tom system, where we have a set of business rules that are customer specific, that KalTire agrees beforehand. And those business rules are driving when we need a work order, when we have to go and stop that machine to do a corrective action.
Wow. And then, so would that tie into, and I realize it may not, I'm just my own curiosity, because earlier when I was talking to Peter about the tire inspection, will that trigger, is any of that tied together, or is this just for looking specifically for damage on the tire?
We are looking specifically for damage on the tire, right? So today, KalTire's team members, they are doing 1 million truck inspection in a year, where the
Wow.
team member is in the field next to the machines and trying to identify damage, and trying to find out if the machine is still safe to continue to operate. The first site in Canada where we put our PitCo AI prototype, we have placed that system there 18 months ago. And to give you some figures, in this 18 months, we have done 4,500 manual inspection carried out by a team member. But in the same time, we also have done 155,000 inspection carried out by the system, right? And now, if you want to find out what's the difference is that those 155,000 inspections, we have applied consistently the same business rules on those, while the 4,500 inspections done by a team member, they're subjective and not always come with the same results. And that is what we would like to drive with the autonomous inspection station, that we have consistent inspections, right? That we make sure the machine is safe to continue to operate, that we don't need to stop the truck to do an inspection, and that if we find a condition or if we find a damage, then via business rules and with the Tom system, be creating a work order that then can be planned and scheduled and addressed accordingly.
On a typical mine site, I guess that there's no such thing because it's probably so many different setups. But like, how many of these, I guess, camera setups and AI systems would need to be set up to be able to sort of cover all the different entry and exit points, or is it do most mines have one key spot where all the trucks are going to go by eventually?
I think it really depends on the design of the mine site, right? There's not a one fit all model, and so what we're trying to do at the moment, we are placing the inspection station close by fuel farms and fuel stations, because every truck has to go and has to be refilled one or twice per day, and those locations are quite ideal because the speed of the truck is not very high. Normally, the road conditions are very good, and the accessibility of the station is also guaranteed being close by a few stations.
Right. Yeah, that's this is sort of this must be one of those things that at the show it's going to be new to some people. A lot of people aren't going to know that that's actually offered now. I've seen it's quite a busy show. You're sort of in a protected area, but some of the other guests, we had people piling through in front of the camera. Are you getting a chance to talk to a lot of people about this, and is there a lot of interest?
There's interest. I have been given the tour to many interested mining customers that came across here on the Electra show. And we still have 2 days to go, so I think there's many more customers that want to have a peek.
Yeah, it's very interesting and similar to Darren. I mean, this is a sort of a snapshot type episode featuring 4 different guests. Normally, we'd be on for about 45 minutes, and I'd get to sort of drill down into more of how it all works. But thanks for the introduction, Christian. And again, same as Darren, I hope we get to have you back on one day to sort of unpack it a little bit more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Kal Tire, we've had them on multiple times. I mean, some of their episodes have just thousands and thousands of views because they're a very energetic company. They're an innovative company, and they have a great foundation and reach in the mining industry, so a very strong perspective. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Gowdy, for getting everything set up on our end here. And thank you for all the guests and the support and the audience. And the last thank you goes out to Savanna Equipment for being our travel sponsor and helping us get all over the world for our heavy industry tour. We will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.